Good morning. Good morning. It is Sunday morning. It is March the 16th. Rise and shine, my friends. Good morning to you. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. And you can see in the bottom left corner, it is a first warning, severe weather warning day because, we've got a big nasty storm system moving our direction. What do they say? Red sky at morning, sailor take warning, right? Yeah, we've got that big storm system that's marching our direction. Happy to say, at least at the moment, our weather is quiet. But when we look at the satellite and radar, and of course, I'm going to keep this up in the bottom left corner throughout the broadcast, but you can see those cells pulsing up and pulsing up across the panhandle. So our live radar scanning around, not finding anything at all, which is certainly good news. But let me switch over to the Jacksonville radar and you can see that line. You know what? We can even switch over to Tallahassee would probably be the better site. Give me a second and I'll switch that over. But there's clearly some nasty cells there. If I was Tallahassee, it would be that button there. Okay. All right. So here's a look at the cells that we are tracking across the I-10 corridor. Definitely some nasty stuff there. They're moving at about 45 or so miles an hour. All right, let me lapse this. And you can see all the lightning just within the last few minutes' time, as a matter of fact. 318 lightning strikes up that direction, and that's all going to eventually work our direction as well. So just keep in mind it's going to get to be a little feisty through the day today, and that's why we're calling today a severe weather warning day, right? Because from about lunchtime through about midnight, depending on exactly where you live, the anticipation is that these cells are going to get strong, move through our area, and could produce damaging winds over 60 miles an hour. Hail is a possibility. And of course, there is that worry of a tornado. The Storm Prediction Center has placed Central Florida under a level 2 out of 5 risk for scattered strong to severe storms, essentially from the I-4 corridor to the north, I-4 to the south under a level 1 or isolated risk for strong to severe storms. It's going to be a lot to talk about on Coffee Talk this morning. So, at least at the beginning, oh, I hit the wrong button. My apologies. At least at the beginning, just roll with me as I kind of click through these things together, okay? That's the tomorrow product. I need the today product. Clicking. Day one. Okay. All right. So, based on kind of the outlook, here's the threat matrix for Central Florida. Notice damaging wind is the predominant concern. We've been talking about this for days now. And again, it's important to remember that in severe weather situations, right? Gusty winds happen almost every day during the summertime for us. The worry is not, a 40 mile per hour wind gust. The worry is getting into a 60, 70 mile per hour wind gust, right? Hail is the second concern, and then tornadoes would be the third concern. The tornadoes are the lowest concern. Now, let's go back to the radar, okay? And I'm going to click the Jacksonville wind velocity, and obviously it's too far from Jacksonville, so I'm going to switch back over to the Tallahassee radar. But I want to look and see what the winds are doing up that direction right now. Give it a second. Got to change radars. Okay. All right, so there's the severe cell right in there. Okay. Let's just kind of look at some of the winds here. 30, 40. So it's 30, 40 miles an hour, but the storm itself is already moving at 40. So 40, 50. So you're talking 60 plus mile per hour winds in those cells, right? That's severe. That's why we have that concern, right? Okay. So, threat breakdown for us. Again, the idea is main concern is going to be those damaging wind gusts, followed by tornadoes and hail on the lower end. Flooding rains we're not anticipating because at the end of the day, I think that this storm system is moving through quick enough that it's not going to have time to do any kind of flooding. All right. All right, so let's take a look at our Futurecast model. This is going to be the highest resolution of Futurecast, and let's dial through the timing of this, okay? 1, 2 o'clock, Futurecast has those nasty cells rolling into our northern areas. And by the way, just coming in now, Tornado Watch issued. New Tornado Watch just getting posted. So I'm going to pause Futurecast for a moment. I'm going to go over to our severe weather alert system because this is just coming down and see where that polygon is drawn. All right, so there you go. So the Storm Prediction Center literally just now issuing this tornado watch while we're here together. It's going to be this box here. So it includes northern Sumter, it includes Marion County, and it perhaps shaves Flagler County. Okay, and that tornado watch is good through 3 p.m. today. So, yeah, Debbie says tornado watch already. Well, think about it. A tornado watch is letting you know that conditions are favorable, okay, for tornado development. We always use the analogy for tacos, right? And people love talking about the tacos, but at the end of the day, tornado watch means be prepared, means conditions are there. The storms haven't gotten going in your area yet, but that's the Storm Prediction Center's way of saying we need to watch. Yeah, let's get ready to make the tacos. Exactly right. So conditions are favorable. A warning means that the severe thunderstorm or the tornado is happening. Okay. And then there's a third one that we don't ever hardly see. That third one, of course, is the emergency, the severe threat to human life and catastrophic damage. We've never had a tornado emergency. Okay, so there's that. Samantha's asking, will it hit Volusia County? We'll get back to the future cast, but I just wanted to show you on our alert system, which I built this just to be able to always be like, all right, what's going on? This is kind of just the quick and dirty alert system. So there you go. So anyway, there's that new tornado watch. It includes Jacksonville. It includes our northern areas. And then around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock or so, we will wait and see if they extend this further to the south. Okay. Now, for those of you that were asking, is this going to hit me, right? Let's go back to Futurecast and let's get an idea of the storm timing. Okay. So, but we don't need the winds. That's just going to further clutter this. So we'll go back over to here. Okay. All right. So this tornado watch goes until 3 p.m. So notice by 2 p.m., we're starting to see the line approaching Marion County. That's why Marion County is kind of on the bottom of that watch. Okay. All right. Continuing on. 3 o'clock, the line starting to move into Flagler. Now, our future cast is kind of, weakening all of this. So I've got to tell you, Futurecast does not seem to have a very good job. That's the Futurecast Rapid Refresh. Let's look at the Futurecast Extended. Yeah. It, for whatever reason, has not done a good job with this line. So what I'm going to do is let's pop up the High Resolution Rapid Refresh, or the HRRR model, and let's look at that. Okay. I would say that the HRRR model has had a very good handle on this line. So there's 2, 3 o'clock. The storms around Gainesville, the storms around Alachua County, the storms getting closer and closer to us. Okay. All right. By 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, getting into Marion, 6, 7 approaching the metro. Look at that. 8 o'clock into the metro. 9, 10 o'clock kind of working and weakening through, and it's basically just, it's weaker. So it looks like for the most part, that's the extended HRRR model. Let's look at the rapid refresh HRRR model. I know you're here somewhere. I just have to find it. All right. Here's the rapid refresh HRRR model. And the rapid refresh HRRR runs every hour. So it's the same dynamics, but it's a shorter duration and it runs every hour. So there's 2, 3 o'clock line moving into Marion. Flagler by about 6, getting closer to the metro, but weakening by about 7, 8 o'clock. But you can still see by 9 o'clock, there's still some energy there, right? 10 o'clock, getting into the metro, a little bit of energy. There's midnight, working over to Brevard County, and that's about as far as that goes. Okay, so I think that we're still on par for a afternoon north and west of town, and then kind of evening / overnight for the metro off to the south. Okay, I think that we're still on par. So this is the timeline that meteorologist Cam Tran put together. I would add this is, you know, essentially, shifted a little bit with new model guidance, but I built this for the first on Friday, and it was good. That alert icon needs to shift. It's like drooping off the banner, and that's just the graphic person in me is like, that is not the way that works. Sorry. Is it obsessive compulsive? If it is, don't you? Did I not keyframe the? Hold on. This is the fun that you get to never see in our weather department, because this is what's happening behind the scenes, is me going in and like doing silly fine tuning of graphics. Why did we add a keyframe to that anyway? Okay. All right. So, what I was trying to say. So, timeline. This is very similar to what we started off with on Friday. Yesterday, we maybe shifted it an hour or two. Today, maybe shifted it an hour or two. But there you go. So, lunchtime to 5 p.m. in our northwestern areas, metro about dinner time to bedtime, and then bedtime to about midnight, 1 a.m. is essentially where we're looking for the timeline. Okay. So, I will tell you, like, I've said it before, but I've got full on plans to have a pool party for my son. I'm still going to do it, just going to have to watch the radar. And I would also add that, like, our first warning live Doppler radar, I still have it in standard mode. I haven't switched it over to any severe weather parameters whatsoever. But my plan certainly today is here. I'll just my plan to where did you go? There. My plan today is to come over here to the configuration and do what I've got to. This is the view of like the actual live radar. So my plan is to go in here and I will be adjusting things as is needed to have our radar ready to go for severe weather. But we don't need it right now. It's not here or anything like that. All right. So if you're just joining because you got advisories and alerts and all this, new tornado watch just posted. It goes until 3 o'clock, and it includes basically from Tallahassee to Jacksonville through our northern areas. We'll see more of these, I'm sure, through the day as this line of nasty weather moves our direction. Okay. So how do we plan our day, right? For you, for I, we've got plans. It's a weekend, for goodness sake. Northern areas, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, that's when we start to see that severe threat, but it's getting into the metro by 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Okay. And then it kind of works off to the east and moves away. John says the face Eric makes when technology tries to foil his plans. We live for it. Always fighting. It's always fighting, right? Always fighting. All right. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Now, you know as well as I do that on Coffee Talk, we don't just look at model data, we look at model guidance. We try to dive in a little bit. And one of the things I want to do is I want to start with some of the model soundings. Okay. So let's get into some nerddom. This is the model sounding off the HRRR model. And I'm using Ocala because it's the furthest kind of north. It's going to be one of the first spots that's going to see some severe weather. Okay. Now, with that little box, I probably should. Let's make it a little bit smaller just so you can see. I want you to see the height. Yeah, that looks pretty good right there. So, for those of you that are new to storm tracking on Coffee Talk style, so this is what's referred to as a skew T log P diagram. This is what all of your, for anybody that says every meteorologist can just look outside and get the weather, whatever. This is one of the products that we use. Now, essentially, this started off, this is a way to, when the weather service folks launch a weather balloon, this is what you get. In the green, that's your dew point. In the red, that's your air temperature. And on the far right, that's your wind direction and speed with height. On the left, it shows you 0 kilometer, 1 kilometer, 3 kilometer, 6. It shows you. And at 6 kilometer, we're at about 490 millibars. So anyway, there's a lot of data here. And I'm not going to expect you to get all of that information. That's what I'm here for. I'm going to guide you through what I'm seeing. Okay, so right off the top, this is it's not a home run severe weather scenario, but this is kind of marginal severe, marginal tornadic. There's a little bit of a turn. There's some decent gusty winds about 3 kilometers up. Okay. So we're starting to see, this is looking a little better organization wise than the model guidance was suggesting yesterday, which is why I'm sure we are under that level 2 risk, why we're under that tornado watch to the north. All right. All right. So, anyway, this is going to be what is it? 16Z. So it's 12Z now. 16, 15, 14, 13. So it's 12 p.m. So this is lunchtime today, right about when those storms are starting to approach Marion County. 82 over 67. It's windy. We've got wind advisories across central Florida. So even at the surface, it's windy. There's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. All right. We've got a little bit of a cloud layer at about 1.25 kilometers up. We've got, that's the saturation point there. Winds fairly unilateral. I mean, there is some shear, but there's a wind streak, a small little jet streak over our head. All right, this is definitely a severe parameter here more than a tornado parameter. This is 18Z, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. So that's 2 p.m. Wait, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 2 p.m. Yeah. All right. 10Z, 11Z. Oh no, that's 20Z. All right, so that's again, there could be a tornado. You're not looking at anything massive. It doesn't look like. That's 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 3 p.m. So that's as the storms are moving into Marion County. Fairly saturated atmosphere, but a little bit of turning with the winds there. Gusty at the surface for sure. And then it's saturated thereafter. Okay, let's go over to oh, KLEE. Let's look at Leesburg. Yeah, I mean that's a tornado. Um, that's a tornado skew T. You've kind of got the goalpost, not a home run, but you've got the goalpost. Look on the far right. You see those wind barbs, how they're starting from the south and they're turning and staying pretty gusty with height. That's telling you that you've got shear with height. So Leesburg is and that's 15, 14, 13, 12. That's 11 a.m. So definitely shearing in the atmosphere. A little bit of the dry layer there. More severe event. I mean, it's like the atmosphere would support a tornado before the storms arrive. Yeah, that's more of a severe, like gusty wind event there. There's some pretty decent winds at about 3 kilometers or 700 millibars. And if any of that wind mixes down to the surface, which I could see happening, yeah, I mean, there's some pretty good winds up top. 82. This is looking more straight line wind, getting a little bit of shearing there, a little bit of a cap. Yeah. And then we go more saturated tonight, more saturated. All right, let's go to Orlando. Da, 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 da. All right, so this is 5. So this is going to be 15, 14, 13, 12. This is 11 a.m. See, if the convection was arriving there, it would be a decent opportunity for a tornado. But the convection is well behind it. Look at that dry air layer kind of mixing in the atmosphere, mixing out. I mean, this is more of a severe, like a wind gust kind of event. Probably a little hail event too. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. That's 3 p.m. Still ahead of the line. That's going to be 4 p.m. Decent winds up top. Starting to pick up around 3 kilometers there. 86, so it's hot. The question is, as the temperatures are hot and as that convection builds in, is there going to be anything out ahead of it? Right? There's a small opportunity for a tornado, but honestly, this is really looking more and more like a wind event. And I would add, see, and then you've got a quick turn. of the winds. That's at 2Z, 2, 1, 12, so like 10 p.m. So that's, 10 p.m. There's a window. There's a window of time where the winds could shift enough right as the line is moving in. Yeah, yeah, there's a window there. And that is actually interesting. So this is 3Z. So what is 3Z? 2, 1, 11 p.m. So in the late evening, this will probably be, it'll probably be further south, but that's why the HRRR model. Okay, all right. So take a look right here. So you've got a fairly saturated atmosphere, but there's just a little bit of a turn in the wind. And so if we go back to the HRRR model, I saw it and I thought it was interesting. Let me go back to the HRRR model for a second. All right, so let's go back to the HRRR model graphically and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So as that line is moving through, if you notice, it kind of pulses up right here, right around 11:12. It's because atmospherically it looks like it's going to get just a little bit of a kick of energy there, and that's why. So you were seeing it on the sounding, but around 11:12 o'clock, if you notice here, you see there's a little kick around of the wind there. It's so hard to tell, but like right at the surface, you've got this southwest, southwest, northwest, southwest. It's just like a little bit of a kick as the front is moving through. And it was that looks like it's wanting to at least pulse the stuff up. So that's why, right as it's moving through 10, 11, 12 o'clock, and then exiting off the shoreline by 1 o'clock or so, that's why we're going to have to watch this line. So anyway, to make a long story long, there is the potential there. And that's why the Storm Prediction Center not only placed us under the level 2 out of 5 risk for strong to severe storms, but keeps that potential there. Now, do I think that they would probably extend that threat for tornado maybe a little further south? Sure, I do. And I would also add one more thing. This is the latest sounding. I want to just pull up the latest sounding. Just went up in Melbourne. Now, what we were just looking at for sounding data, that's model based. This is the actual balloon. And as a matter of fact, we're grabbing the information. And of course, they don't supply a background because why would they? So let me give you a white background. 3D model. I'll just go with something and it'll be white and it'll be gorgeous and it'll be perfect. There. Okay, so what you're looking at is the actual sounding from Kennedy Space Center. Okay, that's the weather balloon. It's still going. It's at about 150 millibars right now. Okay, so just in looking at that data, and I'll make it whiter just because. There, perfect. Greatest, the best ever. All right, so that's the sounding off of the Kennedy Space Center just now. So let's look at a couple of the different parameters here. All right, first off, XMR 25 316 at 10Z. So that's when they lifted it. It's 1224. So looks like either it popped or the data ends there. But anyway, this is the data. So let's look around here. All right, so due south at about 10 knots when they put it up. But notice as soon as, and again, and I'll just bring it bigger, it's these wind barbs that I'm looking at. As soon as it got up, it immediately got to 40 knots to the south, then 30 knots to the southwest. Then the winds kind of started to calm, and then it started to pick back up, and you can see where the winds continue with height. But the one thing that's really interesting to me, again, it may look a little different than what we were looking at Pivotal, but it's the same data. So the red, you see how the red kind of goes generally up, but about the time that the temperature inverts, the dew point drops. That's a dry layer. We call that a cap. So we now can identify where the flattening of the tops of the clouds will be. Once they burst through that, then it goes. But that's the goalpost. It's not a home run. It's not like like a classic Oklahoma supercell type deal. But that's a severe weather environment. So, I would suspect that we're going to have some storms moving through the area, some nasty stuff. Okay, that's the stuff that Tony and Cam and we're all looking at, right? I say Cam because she's in the weather center right now. Okay. So these are some of the other peripheral kind of severe. I mean, your DK, yeah. I mean, there's ingredients there for it, my friends. Now the barbs, so the blue and the red barbs there on the bottom right corner of your screen, that's a way to just kind of see what the winds are with height, right? At the moment, they're not exactly spinning the way you would want for tornadic development. They're spinning more clockwise, but that'll shift in as that front adjusts and kind of arrives, right? And just to let you know, as of right now, the effective layer shear tornado parameter, significant tornado parameter, it's layered as not being there for a tornado right now, which makes sense. But as we get that shear kicking in, it'll be, yeah, that's the goalpost. It's not like perfect, but that's the goalpost there. Okay, if we were to come back, this is Tampa's sounding at 0Z, so that's last night. Here's Jacksonville. I mean, Jacksonville's sounding is a little bit better too. You know, Atlanta sounding a little more saturated. This is Savannah sounding. So, when you study these things, you can start to identify, how these things are layered out, right? But yeah, so that's the Tampa sounding. And then last but not least, oh my goodness, interact. I want sounding data. Ensemble plumes, observed sounding analysis. Yeah, so that's Melbourne. So the environment is there, and we should have no problem popping through that and getting going. Okay. So that's again, that's the next reason and the next ingredient as to why we're looking at severe weather. Now, if we look at the kind of environment for right now, temperatures are in the 70s, and as those temperatures climb today, right? As those temperatures climb, no surprise that we're going to be able to burst those storms up and fire things up. Jessica says we had an EF2 last week with a level 1, so I will keep my eyes open just in case. Yeah, last week there was a little more wind upstairs. But honestly, the trend is going toward a little more wind anyway. So, yeah. Now, this is the latest product from the Storm Prediction Center with the level 2. I do want to look real quick here. I want to see when the next outlook comes out because it's usually pretty soon. All right. So, current time is 12:29 Zulu. The new outlook comes out by 1300 Zulu. So, by 9 a.m., this map should update. All right. And so we'll see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that when that comes down. But within the next 30 or so minutes, this map should update and give us an idea. And of course, part of that is going to be the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center chatting with their local folks, looking into seeing the tornado watch, watching the dynamics of everything, and of course, keeping tabs on it. Okay. So anyway, that's that. Let's talk very quickly about what to do should a tornado warning be issued for your home, right? A lot of people moving to Florida each and every day. So it's important to know your safe room is not a basement here. We don't have basements. So it's the lowest level interior room of your home. Okay, I'm not saying a tornado is going to hit you. There was a meteorologist yesterday that literally put out model data based on if you were going to die from this tornado outbreak. That's a whole different thing for a whole different day. But there's a lot of hype out there is all I'm trying to say. So don't buy into it. That's all I'm going to say. All right. All right. There's the times. Now, questions, comments, concerns that you may have, my friends. Jessica says, put as many walls as you in the outside world as possible. Find the most interior room in the house, usually a bathroom. Yeah, exactly. Put as much around you. Use your home as your shelter. Yeah. Leslie says on YouTube, I've never done a tornado. I don't want to. I've done every other serious weather. Please keep posting. I'll keep posting. I will keep you up to date. And I plan on manipulating the radar, changing radar settings as is needed for sure today. All right. So I saw Alex on a competing local station during weather last night. Aviation crew on hold, waiting until he could get the job. So guys got to pay the bills, and I love him. Janice, I plan to go outside and watch for a tornado. Let's not do that. Weather radio will be turned on and stay tuned to WESH. And I would also add granular data from our live radar. You get live radar, WESH, the WESH 2 mobile app. Bosses have not asked me to do this, but I'm doing this because I fought hard to get this in there. On the WESH 2 mobile app, if you click that top left button and you go to weather and you click the little weather plus, weather plus, we haven't called ourselves that in like 20 years, and then hit radar, that's not our live radar. That is a national composite radar. How you can tell? Our radar can't see all the way up to Tennessee. But in the bottom right corner, if you click the little hamburger and you click the top left button, first warning live radar, you see that? Now that's our live radar. You get granular data off of our live radar. Promise that's us. Case in point, you see it there? Proof. The proof is in the pudding. There's our radar sweep and scan. You can see it kind of ending up there. Same stuff you've got in the app. So if you're looking for a live radar source, that's the place to go for it. Is going to be on the WESH 2 mobile app. I fought hard to get it there. All right. All right. I have the WESH 2 app too and your radar. Kara says, I need a slow tutorial. Just go to the radar on WESH.com or the WESH 2 mobile app. And then on the layers, click first warning live radar. That's how you know it's ours. And like right now, it may not be the most helpful to track the storms because those storms are just outside of our radar's range. But that's as live can get. And you're going to get all of the stuff. Like it's the app is showing all of these. Are these little showers that are developing? Tampa radar. Yeah. Looks like some new showers are developing. So anyway, it'll give you all of that granular stuff. And it's on old white up there. Yeah. Do you have a graphic of where tornadoes have been so far from this front? I don't at the ready. I mean, I could probably put something together, but I don't have it at the ready, no. See, 5 p.m. this evening thing. Of course, Betsy, we're going to always take care of you as best we can, right? What's the risk of tornadoes in Mineola? It's not none. And so because of that, we need to prepare for it, right? The tornadic risk is, I would say, on the lower end of the echelon, but it's not nothing. So, yeah. Would hate for another tornado to come and it goes under radar without warning. Went through 3 years ago in Ocala. So I would say, Siobhan, we had it on our radar. We were doing the best to warn as we could. I remember I was on the air that day. Communication is better. National Weather Service has a better chat utility today than we did. So all we can do is try. I know that there's an effort to try and get better radar to the folks in Jacksonville. And one of the things that I'm trying to do, Siobhan, just so that you know, is I'm trying to get my live radar data to our colleagues at the National Weather Service offices around Central Florida. Okay? All right. So there's your timeline, friends. There's your timeline. Noon to 5, northwestern areas, 5 to 10 through the metro, and about 7 to midnight, 7 to 1 a.m. in Brevard County. Okay? Julie's asking, will this be severe enough that folks break into regular programming? If need be, absolutely. Absolutely, if need be. Okay? Absolutely, if need be. All right? All right. When the Storm Prediction Center puts out their new update on the threats for Central Florida, I fully anticipate doing at least some sort of a quick little video. Okay? But that's the idea. We've got essentially a 2% threat for a tornado in our northern areas and like a 5% threat north of town. All right. So the threat is it's not nothing. Okay. And I would just add that a 2% threat of a tornado is not nothing. I mean, it could happen. You have to keep very, very weather aware on days like this. Is it like Oklahoma? No. Is it like Alabama or Mississippi yesterday? No. But is it our own threat for stronger storms? Sure. All right. So this product will update, and when it does, we'll update you. All right. All right. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you all for hanging out for coffee talk. We'll see you tomorrow morning or throughout the day today. Probably throughout the day today. Yeah. All right. Take care, everyone.